Hello YouTube, this is an alcohol review of TX Blended Whiskey. There we are. Produced by the Firestone and Robertson Distilling Company. The back just simply promotes, we are smooth ending. We are great where this is. It's the standard stuff. It says here 750ml bottle. I'm not sure why that's always important, but I always mention it. It is coming out of Fort Worth, Texas, and so forth and so on. It is 41% alcohol by volume, 82 proof. It has a strange scarf around the top. I'm not sure why, but it's a nice touch. Wooden cork with a rubber to look like leather top. At least I presume that's rubber, not real leather. It is a real cork with a wooden top inside a wooden top. How odd is that? Nice nose. Oh, that's why. Aren't they clever? The reason for the material is so when you pour, you get a little bit of a dribble will come out. But then when you bring it back up, it will absorb it. This doesn't run down the rest of the bottle. You see this a lot when you see Seminiers, something along that line. They'll have a towel wrapped around it, and it's perceived that it is in a, say, a bucket of ice or ice water to help keep it cold, so when they pick it up they're not freezing their hands. But it's also for when they pour, you don't get that bit of a dribble coming down the side of the bottle. You see? There you go. If that isn't clever. Very well thought out. And there we go. It is a nice It is a nice honey brown with lots and lots of yellow hue to it. Not sure what I'm getting in there. Almost as if there's a... It must be my glass. Because I'm not seeing anything in the bottle of any issues. So it must be my glass. Yes it is. It's a reflection of the clouds as you come in. I'm thinking, is that a contaminant there? Didn't they get that out? No, it's a total reflection of the area I'm in. Alright. We give this a swirl. For those of you who may or may not know, actually for those of you who do not know, the reason for the swirl, you always see this people do, is to try to get the solution up the side of the glass. The reason is twofold. One, we now look to see where it starts to run down. That's the legs or the tiers. The more legs, the more tiers, then the faster it goes, the less residual sugars is in the solution. And it tears up nicely. Not too bad. About average, I would have to say. If it tears up slowly or thick, it's going to be presumably a sweeter taste. Versus quickly, which is less sugar, this is not as sweet of a taste. So it gives you an expectation. Is it actually that way when you try it? But it is something to look for. So yeah, it's nice. Also, by doing this way and you help spread the solution up and down the inside of the glass, there's more of it to sniff, to smell when you give it the old sniff test. I smell a lot of alcohol, a lot of bite. A lot of orange and a lot of vanilla. Stone fruit. Typical whiskey, but it's an awful lot of bite that I'm getting in the nose. It does fade, so it may have a short hang time. That might be a plus, but that bite, well, we'll see. Wow, that is not what I expected. There's just about no bite. I smell a bite, but I get no bite, which I'm happy for because I do not like my whiskeys to bite me. There are very few things that like to bite me, and whiskey is not one. Wow, smooth, very very smooth, very little heat, very little burn in the beginning, but tapers out quickly. There is a lot of orange, there is a lot of vanilla, there is a lot of stone fruit, just like what the nose promises. The ethanol taste gives it a bit of a, what's called a bitter highlight, but there's more to it than, say, a highlight. So it's largely bitter coming along to it. So think of that orange, think of that stone fruit, but think of it when it's on the edge of going bad. It's got that bitterness to it. Now, usually there's also a kind of a soury and whatnot. Take those parts away, but keep the bitterness in biting into an orange that just went off. And that's what you get in this. Now, is this a bad thing? Actually, no. At least for my particular palate. Do I like taste of rotting fruit? No, don't be silly. But I know that's what it sounds like. But don't be silly. The thing is, when you try a lot of these whiskeys and bourbons and whatnot, they all have this orangey, vanilla-y, stone fruity, apricot like flavors, but they don't seem to sound or sing true to it, as in, oh, these are wonderful fruit flavors. They're kind of lost in this alcohol. In this case, you get lots of that fruit flavor, lots of that vanilla all through it, but there's enough of the ethanol that gives it that burnt, smoky, which I know a lot of people like, and bitterness that's almost like it's gone bad. So I know it sounds terrible, but it's actually not a bad thing. It's actually part of the taste of whiskey. I know some of you out there going, don't drink that for rotted fruit. It's not really a rotted fruit. It is a bitterness when that fruit hits that stage. So please don't think that I'm dissing it. I'm actually it's just an observation. My palate takes that ethanol, thinks of burnt tire, you put in all the fruits into it. Now I've got a slightly going off fruit flavor into all this. So not bad, considering. I swear I almost taste chocolate in that. How interesting. Now, is this a sipping whiskey or is this a kind of cocktail whiskey? It's on the edge. Its taste of that ethanol, that bitterness, is enough that you would want something sweet to go with it. Say like a cocktail, a cola of some sort, or say cream soda or something along that line. That would go well. It would treat it well. But I think there's enough layers that you'd be denying yourself a decent sipping whiskey if you added something else to it, such as a cocktail. So I would have to say, Actually, this would be a good one to add a little bit of ice to, just a bit, just a little bit. The thing about ice, uh, rocks, ice. I know you think they're the same, but you can actually can get rocks that you put in the freezer to go in. So rocks or ice or just putting the whole bottle into the freezer. When you get it cold, you will lose upwards of 70% of the nose characteristic. And the nose is 75% or more of your taste buds advisors. So to cool it down, you lose a lot of flavor. I know a lot of people who take tequila and deliberately put it in the freezer to knock down all those negative flavors, and what's left over are these just phenomenal highlights. I think this would be very similar, though I wouldn't freeze it, but maybe refrigerator or a small piece of ice, a small, well, I would have to say maybe two rocks in there. The rocks never hold the cold as much as advertised, and I think you overpay for them. Little granite stones, they're like cubes. But either way, two of those, or maybe half an ice cube, quarter of an ice cube, I think would take the edges off this and make it quite nice as as a nice sipping whiskey. And I think that weighs out using it as a cocktail, but that I think goes into a matter of whoever is drinking it. So give it a try. See what you think. This is TX blended whiskey. Dun, dun, dun. Any particular comments on this particular product will be warmly accepted, as always. Or better yet, go out, buy it, try it, and review it yourself on YouTube for the rest of us in the YouTube spirits community, so we have an idea what your thoughts are about TX whiskey. And maybe you guys might think it is a cocktail whiskey versus a nice sipping whiskey. But hey, be interested to hear what you guys have to say. Until next time, keep on drinking.